Now on CoastTV News.
Special Election Day, the year-long drama in Delaware State House District 20 is nearing its conclusion. What you need to know this morning as voters head to the polls.
Ceiling stuns travelers, the scary scene at the Atlanta airport that led to a delay in flights.
White Marlin Open, Day 2. Less than half of the registered boats competed on Monday. Why some are saving their allotted days.
More clouds than sun the next few days for Delmarva. Temperatures a little on the cooler side and the humidity starting to creep up a bit. Not much in the way of rain. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
It is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we have a busy day to tell you about today.
Tuesday.
We'll set the table when it comes to that special election. It's also day 2 of the White Marlin Open.
It is day 2 of the White Marlin Open. I saw some anglers got lucky yesterday on day 1.
There were some impressive fish.
Yeah, I mean, Bob and I were talking yesterday for day 1 of that competition. They had beautiful weather, minus a little bit of those air quality concerns. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. You had some days off with some perfect weather as well.
I enjoyed that.
Yes.
It was great. Thank you, Bob.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome back, Matt, and good morning, Lisa. And yes, day 2 of the White Marlin Open. And I think all in all, the weather's pretty good, just more in the way of clouds. And with those clouds this morning, not as cool. We're not seeing 50s like we saw yesterday. We're seeing 61 in Gumboro, 63 in Millsboro, a little milder at the beaches, Bethany Beach and Rehoboth at 67, and a light breeze out of the north right now as we're seeing a lot of clouds. The bark is worse than the bite here. Just a lot of clouds flowing in from the south and west. We are seeing some rain from West Virginia into Virginia right now, but we have high pressure in place and a lot of dry air. So a lot of this rain will kind of get whittled away as it starts to head our way, but maybe a few showers sneak through the dry air this afternoon. But for the most part, it's dry as we're looking at mostly cloudy skies through the morning hours. Temperatures rising through the 70s, around 80 in Georgetown by noon, 75 Bethany Beach, 74 in Ocean City. So lots of clouds for the anglers heading out. Winds pretty light too. By mid-afternoon, looking at low 80s inland, 70s at the beaches. Can't rule out a stray shower into the evening hours. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. And day 2 of the 52nd White Marlin Open, and we're looking at light winds out of the east-northeast. Lots of clouds, a few peaks of sun. Temperatures in the upper 70s in Ocean City, and the waves about 2 to 4 feet. And I think the weather will cooperate really the next few days for the Open. More on that, plus a chance of rain maybe for the weekend. I'll talk about that coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. And our top story this hour, we're looking at the culmination of a story that began on January 14th. That is the date the 153rd Delaware General Assembly first convened.
And that was today. Then District 20 Democratic Representative Stell Parker Selby began her year-long absence at Legislative Hall.
Parker Selby resigned her seat in June. Today is the special election to determine who serves the remainder of that term.
Republican Nikki Miller and Democrat Alonna Berry have strong education backgrounds. Listen to what they said last week on Delaware's school funding formula and the next steps.
We are hurting our most at-risk kids by paying the teachers less to teach them. And then you have high turnovers because the teachers can drive a few more miles and make more money doing the same thing.
We're operating in a funding formula that is not meeting the needs of our students and our teachers and our parents today. We have got to figure out how to completely restructure the way that we fund our schools.
Republican Nikki Miller is a longtime educator, former Cape Henlopen High School principal.
And Democrat Alonna Berry founded the Brian Allen Stevenson School of Excellence. That's a free public charter school in Georgetown. Berry also worked on policy and budget issues under former Delaware Governor John Carney.
According to the Delaware Department of Elections, polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and there are 8 different polling places in the district. Now, on your screen right now is a map of District 20. This is an area that we're talking about. It covers Milton, parts of Lewis, Harbison, and Georgetown, and it's home to approximately 23,000 registered voters.
And you can see those polling locations on your screen right now. They include Milton Elementary School, Mariner Middle School, H.O. Brittingham School, Sussex Consortium, Frederick Thomas Middle School.
Also the Crossing, Lewis Public Library, Lewis Elementary School, Milton Elementary School. And for people living in District 20, there are several things you need to know before heading to the polls. According to the Delaware Department of Elections, voters must be 18 years or older. Bring ID with them to vote. Officials say if you don't have ID but are at the correct polling place, you can still vote. Election workers will confirm your voter registration, and then you'll have to complete an affidavit of affirmation of your voter identity. The deadline for absentee ballots is 8 p.m. tonight.
The Delaware Department of Elections released the numbers after the 10 days of early voting in the District 20 special election. According to officials, about 29% of registered voters in the 20th district already voted. That means over 6,600 people have gone to the polls. At Lewis Elementary location, just over 3,000 people voted. At the Milton Mariner Middle School location, just over 2,900 people voted. We are told by the Delaware Department of Elections, results will be posted around 9:30. And for more information on this special election, you can head to our website, CoastTV.com.
In Lewis, the city has a new fire chief. This follows an election Monday night. Robert Stevens, who was serving in an interim capacity, now officially takes on the role as fire chief. Stevens is an 18-year member of the department and has held several positions within the company, including assistant fire chief. Stevens also works for the Wilmington Fire Department as a firefighter on Squad 4. And for full disclosure, Chief Robert Stevens is the husband of Coast TV's assistant news director and anchor, Madeline Overturf.
And this election for fire chief comes after former Lewis Fire Chief Bill Buckalew resigned and was suspended from the department after making a derogatory comment in a public setting, according to a statement from the Lewis Fire Department on July 21st. The department says that comment was unacceptable in any context.
Progress is underway on what's expected to become the world's largest artificial reef. You may remember this ship visited our coast earlier this year. Well, now it's in Mobile, Alabama, and crews have removed the massive 65-foot forward funnel from the SS United States. It's part of preparations to transform the 990-foot ship into an artificial reef off the Gulf Coast. The sinking of the SS United States, that will take place about 20 nautical miles off the coast at a depth of 180 feet. They're preserving that forward funnel for a future land-based museum.
We are now taking a live look out in Ocean City. Day 2 of the world's largest billfish competition is getting underway. The White Marlin Open continues as hundreds of boaters plan to head out onto the water again today. However, fishermen are expecting the conditions out at sea to worsen throughout the week. In fact, some of them have already ruled out fishing on Thursday and Friday. Because of this, organizers have extended fishing days to Saturday and Sunday.
Happening today, the crafting of land use policy recommendations in Sussex County. It's a continuing effort this year by the working group with that name. After 6 meetings, the group has drafted 22 recommendations, which the county council may consolidate. Some include creating higher density for development in certain areas. That could lead to taller buildings with more housing units. Another is syncing up road improvements with new developments. And some people living in Sussex County that we spoke with think the group serves an important purpose.
You want to hear the people who live here, who've been here their whole life and are so not used to the busyness aspect of the growth.
And the group of volunteers are set to meet today at 10 a.m.
Check out this shocking scene Monday afternoon at the Atlanta airport. It forced a brief closure of that area near one of the airport's gates. It did cause a delay to at least one flight. Airport officials say they are still attempting to determine what caused that leak and the ceiling to collapse.
And we're now taking a live look at Washington, D.C., a fight between Texas lawmakers. That's expanding all the way to our nation's capital. It's now lawmakers from across the country get involved. And Texas Democratic lawmakers, they are still outside the state in an effort to block a vote on a Republican congressional redistricting plan. It's being pushed by President Trump ahead of next year's midterm elections.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott overnight calling the state troopers to track down and arrest those lawmakers. NBC's Jay Gray shows us a closer look at the holdout and how governors in blue states are now vowing to join the fight.
Members, a quorum is not present.
Texas Democrats continuing their holdout. Dozens of state lawmakers leaving the House chamber and the state effectively blocking a vote on a Republican congressional redistricting plan that could create up to 5 new GOP seats and help the party maintain control of the U.S. House in the 2026 midterm elections.
Their attempts to disenfranchise Texans is the tool they're using is a racist, gerrymandered map. And Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump.
Texas Republicans pushing back.
This map was politically based, and that's totally legal, totally allowed, and totally fair.
Governor Greg Abbott threatening to expel the more than 50 absent lawmakers from office while ordering state troopers to find and arrest them.
I will immediately sign the warrants for the civil arrest of the members who have said they will not be here.
Texas may be the spark point, but clearly this showdown is just the start of a national battle for political power.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
Governors in a handful of blue states, including New York, Illinois, and California, already working on potential redistricting plans to offset GOP efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom, a potential presidential candidate, posting on social media, "Buckle up, Donald Trump. California is about to get a whole lot bluer thanks to you." Blue or red, the map to the midterm elections, unclear and contentious, more than a year before voters head to the polls. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
And we're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, grass regulations review, the possible consequences in Cambridge for people who officials say don't look after those lawns.
Also, push to improve housing options. We'll tell you Milton could move forward with efforts to bring more affordable and workforce housing to the town.
And recognizing Rehoboth history when the nation's summer capital is unveiling a permanent reminder of its beach patrol's impact. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Just about 5:14 on our Tuesday morning. Bay Health Cam and over 68 degrees there. We're in the low to mid 60s, no 50s like we saw yesterday morning with upper 60s at the coast. Still need a windbreaker out the door. Just a light breeze at the coast right now and a lot of clouds. That'll be the theme as we go through the day. Is some rain off to our south and west, but a lot of that will dry up before it gets here because we have high pressure. And the anglers for the open looking at some clouds and waves about 2 to 4 feet. Here's your drivecast today. I gave it the green light, mostly cloudy this morning, but dry roads, and also dry roads this afternoon, mostly cloudy skies. More clouds to come. I'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Rehoboth Beach will unveil a new historical marker. This at a ceremony at 9 a.m. at the Beach Patrol station. Officials say that marker will honor the Beach Patrol's long history. Mayor Stan Mills says it's an honor to receive the state historical designation.
Have a heads up for you if you are driving through the Delmar area. Delmar Road is closed between Providence Church Road and Old Racetrack Road now through Thursday, August 7th. And DelDOT says it's shut down for emergency repairs to a failed crossroad pipe.
BP is pushing to boost its global upstream production. Officials with the British energy giant says its goal is to increase output for 2.3 million barrels to 2.5 million by the end of the decade. BP just announced a major oil and gas discovery in deepwater Santos Basin offshore of Brazil. It calls the discovery its largest in the last quarter century.
The New York Post is headed to the West Coast. The tabloid's ownership is announcing it will launch the California Post. That'll be early next year, and it'll be based out of Los Angeles. The new publication will include news, entertainment, and sports reporting, but with a California focus. The California Post will also include a daily print edition.
Weather-wise, we're seeing some haze on the Spicer Brothers Cam in Salisbury, 62 degrees. We're looking at more clouds the next few days. Temperatures a little cooler and humidity a little higher, but not much in the way of rain. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:18, and many of the boats for the White Marlin Open making their way to those offshore canyons as we now check out the live scene in Ocean City. And Bob, we should know in a few hours how many of the 282 boats are actually competing today.
Wow, that many boats, huh? Amazing, amazing. And I think the weather's cooperating for the White Marlin Open today, Matt, as we're looking at more in the way of clouds. Maybe the fish bite better when it's cloudy. And I hope so, because we're looking at a lot of clouds, not only today, but the next several days. Ocean City temperatures in the upper 70s. Winds not too tough as we go through Wednesday, but they do start getting gusty on Thursday. And those gusts over 25 miles per hour, that could be 35 to 40 out in the open ocean. And then upper 70s into Friday and Saturday. We'll have to watch with a storm system to our south over the weekend, and that could definitely crank up the wind and waves. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s this morning, 61 in Delmarva, 64 in Georgetown. Remember, we had 50s yesterday. We have some cloud cover that's keeping us just a little warmer. 70 in Ocean City, 67 Bethany Beach, Milton at 64. Winds are calm inland areas, just a little bit of a breeze at the coast, and we're seeing a lot of clouds. Bark is worse than the bite. Not seeing anything in the way of rain right now, so those anglers heading out for the Open today, they'll be looking at clouds over the ocean. Meantime, we do have showers across West Virginia and Virginia as we have high pressure overhead. A lot of this will get whittled away because we have a lot of dry air, and maybe a shower does sneak through this afternoon, but for the most part, we're looking at dry conditions. And a stationary front across the southeast, well, that could be the focus for possible tropical development the next few days. Next 7 days, there's about a 30% chance. So we'll be watching this, and that could be drifting up the East Coast as we go into the weekend. We'll be watching that. Here's Futurecast this morning. We're looking at a lot of clouds today. Temperatures warming through the 70s by mid-afternoon, around 80 in Millsboro, 81 in Georgetown. We've got 70s at the beaches with that flow coming off the ocean. This evening, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, and then I think into Wednesday morning, lots of clouds to start, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. And then by Wednesday afternoon, we're in the upper 70s and low 80s with an easterly breeze. And we're looking at that breeze once again out of the east really the next several days. And by Thursday, those winds do start to pick up around 25, maybe 30 miles per hour, even stronger over the open water. We're still looking at smoke the next couple of days, but not as obvious with the cloud cover in place. But we're looking at some of that smoke as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. So if you do suffer from health problems, it's best to stay in air conditioning, as we're starting to see the humidity creeping up as well. Muggy to humid the next several days, and then moving into the weekend, kind of interesting. We've got a system developing to our south that could definitely crank up the winds for the anglers, and we're looking at this system that right now looks like misses us to the south and east. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, low 80s right through Thursday. Lots of clouds, Friday 79, and right now we're keeping it dry for the weekend, but I'm watching that system to the south. 80 Saturday, 84 Sunday, a few showers into Monday. And congratulations to Jerry Ziegler from Berlin, Maryland, on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
New this morning, the Maryland Department of the Environment is warning locals about smoke moving towards the state. Officials say it's coming from Canada and could result in hazy skies and air quality concerns. The agency says smoke levels are expected to stay within a moderate range today, but could increase later this week. According to the agency, people sensitive to air pollution should limit time outdoors.
In Milton, officials continue to debate solutions to increase affordable or workforce housing. At Monday night's town council meeting, the Planning and Zoning Committee's final report on this type of housing was received. Here is what one member of the town council said about what the next steps in this process look like.
The ad hoc committee presented everything to the town council. Town council in turn said, okay, let's get our planning commission to take a look at that and see, are these recommendations viable? And that is what came before the council today, was the Planning Commission's final report on those recommendations.
It's not clear yet how those housing recommendations are used by the town council.
Up next on Coast TV News today, a grass regulations review will tell you how Cambridge officials say they are increasing enforcement so that more people look after their lawns. Don't go anywhere. Overgrown lawns are piling up in Cambridge, and city officials say they've had to shift crews and resources just to keep up. Homeowners now have 7 days to mow once cited, or the city will do it for them and then send a bill. City Manager Glenn Steckman says enforcement is ramping up across the city.
We're hoping that this becomes less of an issue for the city, that we can channel our manpower into better areas. But one of the challenges this year is we've been cutting so many lawns, we're having a difficult time cutting our own and maintaining our own property.
Steckman also says the issue spreads through both older neighborhoods and newer developments. It's going to be a little cloudy today at the beach, Bob said, but less humidity. So that's a plus.
I'm loving the less humidity.
Yes.
And with that breeze, Bob, we continue with comfortable conditions along the coast.
Yeah, we really do. And, you know, despite the clouds, we're still looking at UV levels that are on the high side today. Fenwick Island and Ocean City, we're looking at mid to upper 70s today. Some peaks of sun, but lots of clouds. Waves around 2 to 3 feet. Rip current risk is moderate. Lewis, near 80 this afternoon. A lot of cloud cover and upper 70s in Rehoboth as well. On the bay side, your UV index is high. Waves around 1 foot and upper 70s in Cambridge later on with cloudy skies and looking cloudy near Crisfield as well with temperatures near 80 degrees. We're looking at a lot more clouds the next several days, but staying pretty much on the dry side with an uptick in humidity. Much more on the forecast coming up in the next half hour.
After the break on CoastTV News today, push for Obama-era employee probe. We'll tell you why some current top officials are calling for a probe into previous Obama-era employees.
Also, largest billfish competition continues. Why officials say expected weather is changing the rules this year.
And today is the day Delaware House District 20 will vote for a new representative. We'll tell you what you need to know as polling places for that special election prepare to open. CoastTV News Today will be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
District 20 Decision Day. Later tonight, we expect to know who will serve the remainder of the term in the General Assembly, the drama and the details of the special election.
Lewis leader named after a controversial resignation at the city's fire department. We look at the new chief and the experience he brings to this role.
Boats battle conditions as we get ready for day 2 of the White Marlin Open, the situation that led officials to make changes to the tournament schedule.
More clouds than sun the next few days for Delmarva. Temperatures a little on the cooler side and the humidity starting to creep up a bit. Not much in the way of rain. Forecast details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
August 5th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And we're about to hit 5:31 on this Tuesday morning. We continue with White Marlin Open Week. Always fun to check what Michael Jordan's boat is doing, the all-time NBA great. Catch 23 is the name of the boat. I saw they caught 2 white marlins and a blue yesterday, but they didn't bring any of those on board.
And you spent years covering the White Marlin Open. Did you ever see him in person?
No. I know people have.
Yeah,
at the marinas. There's plenty of pictures out there with people
gosh.
able to meet him, but I did not was able to see him in any of my coverage.
It's so cool that he participates in that. And the weather, I think Michael Jordan, I think he'll like the weather today for fishing as well. Bob, do you think he'll approve of that?
I hope so. I wouldn't want to have Michael Jordan mad at me about the weather for sure. But no, for the anglers headed out, we're looking at cloudy skies. I don't think we're looking at wet conditions. And all in all, pretty good for fishing, I think. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s out the door this morning. We had 50s yesterday, but a little warmer this morning with the cloud cover. 63 in Millsboro and a little warmer at the beaches, 70 in Ocean City. And right now we're hoping at 67. Calm winds inland areas, a little bit of a breeze along the coast, and we'll have another day with an onshore flow as clouds are increasing from the south and west. That's keeping us a little warmer. Nothing in the way of rain, so you can see from Ocean City out into the ocean, just clouds now. There are showers back to the west, but a lot of these will dry up as they get here because we have high pressure dry air that will kind of whittle away at them as we're looking at a lot of clouds. Once again, the bark is worse than the bite. Temperatures by noon into the 70s to near 80, and we're looking at 70s at the beaches, so not the best beach day with the cloudy skies and temperatures in the 70s. By 3 p.m., 80 in Millsboro, 81 in Delmar, Ocean City 75, and still lots of clouds this evening. So your ferry ride up to Cape May, light winds, pretty smooth ride. We're looking at clouds pretty much all day. Temperatures rising through the 70s, close to 80 by 1 p.m.
We are now taking a look at the map of Delaware House District 20. That's the area where a special election is taking place today. This covers Milton, parts of Lewis, Harbison, and Georgetown. It's home to approximately 23,000 registered voters. And that is our top story this half hour. 2 women are running for that seat.
Yeah, one of those is Republican Nikki Miller. She's a longtime educator and former Cape Henlopen High School principal.
And Democrat Alonna Berry founded the Brian Allen Stevenson School of Excellence. That's a free public charter school in Georgetown.
Berry also worked on policy and budget issues under former Delaware Governor John Carney. If you live in District 20, there are a couple of things you need to know before heading to the polls. According to the Delaware Department of Elections, polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and there are 8 different polling places in the district. According to the Delaware Department of Elections, voters must be 18 years or older and bring ID with them to vote. And the absentee ballots deadline, that's 8 p.m., and we're told by the department to expect results around 9:30 p.m.
And here's how we got to the point of needing a special election. After months of getting little information from Democratic leaders in the state over Stell Parker Selby's absence at Legislative Hall, Parker Selby resigned from her District 20 seat in June, citing health issues. In 2024, she won re-election to a second term but failed to show up in Dover when the General Assembly convened in January.
Now taking a live look at Ocean City. Day 2 of the world's largest billfish competition is getting underway there. It is the 52nd annual White Marlin Open, and more than half of the boats decided not to compete on Monday. Anglers are expecting the ocean conditions to worsen throughout the week. In fact, some of them have already ruled out fishing on Thursday and Friday. There are 3 days they can fish. Because of the expected conditions, organizers have extended fishing days to Saturday and Sunday.
In Lewis, a new fire chief has officially been named following Monday night's election. Robert Stevens, who was serving as interim fire chief, will now officially assume the role as fire chief. Stevens has been a member of the department for 18 years and has held multiple positions within the company, including assistant fire chief. Stevens also works for the Wilmington Fire Department as a firefighter on Squad 4. And for full disclosure, Chief Robert Stevens is the husband of CoastTV's assistant news director and anchor Madeline Overturf.
Delawareans making a difference in their communities now have a chance for recognition by the state's highest office. Governor Matt Meyer has officially opened nomination for the Governor's Awards. According to his office, these are a series of honors designed to celebrate individuals whose service, leadership, or contributions have improved the first state. Nominations are accepted year-round through an online form.
Many Democratic lawmakers in Texas are still out of the state after leaving over the weekend to stop Republicans from moving forward with a plan backed by President Donald Trump to change the state's congressional map.
Yeah, Reed Binion shows us how the political battle in Texas has big repercussions in Washington, where House Republicans enter a challenging midterm in the 2026 elections with a very thin majority.
Don't mess with Texas.
Democratic officials and lawmakers across the nation warning that Republicans' effort to aggressively redraw congressional districts in Texas will be met by comparable changes in blue states.
Don't mess with democracy. You can gerrymander the hell out of that map. Guess what? 2 can play that game. That's right. Other states will do exactly the same thing and neutralize what you're trying to do in Texas.
The redistricting effort could deliver Republicans 5 more seats in the U.S. Congress ahead of the midterm elections, but Democrats are threatening to fight back in kind.
We're going to fight fire with fire, and we're going to do everything we can right now to stand up against this unconstitutional power grab.
Some Democratic governors are weighing options to retaliate with their own mid-decade redistricting efforts.
I'm exploring with our leaders every option to redraw our state congressional lines as soon as possible.
Democratic New York Governor Kathy Hochul promising to fight.
This is a war. The gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
In California, Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom said if Texas Republicans move forward with redistricting, he would aim to put a new congressional map before California voters in a November special election. For their part, some Republicans argue the Texas redistricting effort is a response to Democratic partisan gerrymandering.
Quite frankly, California is more gerrymandered than the maps that we're talking about today in Texas. All the other Democrat states are doing it. The state of Texas should as well.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
It's just in, a senior Trump administration official says that Attorney General Pam Bondi is calling for a grand jury to investigate how Obama-era officials handled Russian interference in the 2016 election. This move comes after National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard claimed that top Obama administration officials carried out a, quote, treasonous conspiracy, end quote, against then-candidate Donald Trump. Past probes, including 2 conducted by Republicans, found no such crimes. And we still have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Rip Current Concern will tell you what first responders say you can do to avoid injury as the risk increases across Delmarva.
Also, White Marlin Open recap. We take a look at the leaderboards heading into day 2 of the world's largest billfish tournament.
And Delaware denies massive pay package. We'll tell you how much money is now approved for Elon Musk after a previous refusal from Delaware judges. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
Just about 5:41 on our Tuesday morning. Sun's up shortly after 6. We're seeing lots of clouds out there on the dry tech cam Ocean City. Light winds, so the anglers heading out for the Open. Looking pretty good right now. We're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 60s inland areas, 60s to around 70 at the coast, so a little warmer there, but the winds are light. I know the anglers like to see that. We're seeing a lot of clouds and maybe the fish bite a little more with the cloud cover. We're seeing a lot of that. Some showers back to our south and west, but a lot of these will dry up as they head our way today. Maybe a few sneaking through. Otherwise, our golf forecast today is pretty good, but lots of clouds, warm, an uptick in humidity, and 82 degrees. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone. It's sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
Tesla's board has awarded CEO Elon Musk a pay package worth $29 billion. Musk is not paid a cash salary as head of the electric vehicle maker. Instead, Tesla allows him to purchase company shares for a fraction of their market price, making him the largest individual shareholder, owning about 13% of the company. It's important to note that just a few months ago, a Delaware court rejected for a second time Musk's 2018 Performance Award.
Happening today, police agencies are preparing to connect with the communities they serve. National Night Out happening all across Delmarva, and these events are set to include food, games, and fun. And here are a few locations taking place. At George H.P. Smith Park in Lewis, that's from 5 to 8 p.m. At Richard Allen School in Georgetown, 6 to 8 p.m. Salisbury City Park, 5 to 8. And at Northside Park in Ocean City, that starts at 5:30 p.m. Milton is hosting its event Wednesday, and that's at Memorial Park starting at 5.
As the summer season continues, Lewis is working to keep roads and public spaces in good shape. City maintenance will be performing curb painting, road striping, and general upkeep across Lewis, including on streets, alleys, and public parking areas. The city says work will be done Wednesday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., weather permitting. Officials say the early schedule not only minimizes traffic interruptions, but also protects workers from the heat.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, sports fans. The annual White Marlin Open started yesterday in Ocean City, and it's time to see who's on top of the leaderboards after day 1. Sponsored by Rudy Marine. Let's begin with Blue Marlin, where the Barbara B boat and angler Drew Osmeyer landed a 930-pound fish. That's not going to get topped this week. Congrats to him. He's earned himself an estimated prize that comes in at $4.5 million. Let's go to tuna, where a C- student got straight A's yesterday. Keely McGarity earned himself an estimated $700,000. And don't worry, there's actually another one here. Shout out to Bow Down and John Grace. He earned himself over $500,000 for a fish that weighed the exact same. Finally, let's shift gears to dolphin fish, aka Mahi Mahi. Barbara B back again, but this time it was angler Andrew Schreiber who casted the line, earned himself an estimated $108,000 for catching a 32.5-pound dolphin fish. Make sure to stay locked to DSN throughout the week for updates as the White Marlin Open rolls on through Sunday. Now let's thank our sponsor, Rudy Marine.
White Marlin Open leaderboard coverage is sponsored by RudyMarine.com, where family boating begins.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 7 Live, Shorebirds baseball as they take on the Fayetteville Woodpeckers and then catch the final score at 10:30.
A movie starring 2 Oscar-nominated actors is being used to scare animals. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
People used to tell me that you were too selfish to be a great artist, and I used to defend you. They were absolutely right.
All your best acting is behind you. You're back to being a hack.
You gaslighted me. me.
Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson received Oscar nominations for Marriage Story. Now the Department of Agriculture is using the film to scare wolves away from cattle herds in the western U.S. The Wall Street Journal reports audio of the characters arguing is among the clips being blasted by drones. A USDA supervisor says the idea is to show wolves that humans are bad.
Don't see that every day or ever.
From wolves to dinosaurs, Jurassic World Rebirth lands on digital platforms today. Director Gareth Edwards says filming in Thailand was a mixed bag.
We looked all around the world, and Thailand basically is the most perfect, primeval-looking, beautiful paradise kind of location that also has a film industry here. So you've got amazing crew, but it was a slog. It was really hot all day long. I'm not going to get no sympathy whatsoever for this, but it's hard in the jungles and in the waterfalls.
Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at CoastTV.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We're seeing lots of clouds to start our Tuesday. A few little breaks on the Tidal Health Cam in Salisbury. Roads are dry, but more clouds the next few days. Temperatures a little cooler, the humidity a little higher, and not much in the way of rain as we go through the next few days. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:48, and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury this morning. And Bob, we have another cool morning. You said not as cool as yesterday morning, but I still was more prepared because yesterday I walked outside. I was like, it feels like early fall.
Oh, absolutely. Especially yesterday morning, Elisa. That felt like early fall with temperatures in the 50s. A little milder this morning because we have some of the cloud cover out there. We'll be looking at a lot of clouds really the next several days, more clouds and sun. It will be warm, a little bit of an uptick in humidity, and then later in the week, the humidity continues to rise with more clouds, warm and a bit humid, and maybe a few showers. Out the door right now, just lots of clouds, and temperatures once again not as cool as they were yesterday morning. 61 Gumboro, Millsboro 63, Milton 64. We've got 70 in Ocean City as the anglers are heading out for day 2 of the Open, and 67 in Rehoboth right now as the winds are calm and even calm along the coast. So that's nice. Flat seas as we're heading out for day 2 of the White Marlin Open. We're seeing a lot of clouds out there right now all across Delmarva. Nothing in the way of rain. We are seeing some rain West Virginia into Virginia, but as this moves to the east, I think it'll dry out. We still have high pressure in place, and that'll kind of whittle away at that rain. And there's actually more high pressure building in from the north, so that will keep an easterly flow and slightly cooler temperatures for us. In the meantime, there is a stationary boundary across the southeast. A lot of heavy rain across the upstate of South Carolina, and we could see some tropical development in this area the next few days. About a 30% chance over the next 7 days. We'll have to watch this system as it moves up the coast and possibly out to sea, but maybe a close call heading into the weekend as we're looking at a lot of clouds on Futurecast this morning. Temperatures rising through the 70s. By 3 p.m., 81 in Georgetown, 80 in Millsboro, 75 in Ocean City. It will be cooler. 70s Fenwick Island up to Dewey Beach, and still lots of clouds as we go through the evening hours, and then mostly cloudy overnight Wednesday morning. We're looking at temperatures in the 60s and 70s, so a little warmer, and then an onshore flow on Wednesday keeps us in the clouds and temperatures into the 70s and 80s. As the winds are light today, but they're going to start to pick up with time, and especially into Thursday. I'm concerned about this because we're seeing gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour on land. They're going to be stronger out to sea, so I guess that's why a lot of the anglers want to get the fishing and maybe before and after that with the gusty winds. We're still seeing quite a bit in the way of wildfire smoke, so even though we have the cloud cover, we are looking at that chance of elevated air quality issues. Make sure if you suffer from health problems to stay inside as we're still dealing with that smoke, and an uptick in the humidity as well the next few days into the muggy to humid range right through the rest of the week into the weekend. And here's Futurecast by Friday 8:30. We're going to be looking at stronger winds building in from the east with a possible system to our south. Will it have tropical characteristics as it's moving to the north? Hard to tell, but it looks like it's off the Virginia Capes by early Sunday. And right now, we're just going to see wind from it and nothing in the way of rain. If that shifts to the west, well, that's a different story. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 82 today with mostly cloudy skies. The overnight lows beginning to come up as well. Lots of clouds Wednesday, 81, sun and clouds Thursday and Friday, close to 80 degrees. And then we're watching the weekend for that system to our south. Does it wiggle to the west a little bit, give us a better chance of rain and wind? We'll have to see about that. Right now, I'm keeping it dry. 80 on Saturday, mostly cloudy. Sunday, 84, and maybe some rain chances by Monday and a high of 87.
Strong rip currents continue to rage up and down Delmarva's coast. The National Weather Service says there's a moderate risk of life-threatening currents for Sussex County, but a high risk for Worcester County down to Accomack County. And this has certainly kept beach patrols busy. Captain Jeff Giles with the Rehoboth Beach Patrol says if you're going to go in the water, be near a lifeguard and know your limitations.
You can be a really good swimmer, but these rip currents are no joke. You know, they can take a life and they can pull you out, and you'll be well over your head, and if there's any panic in the situation, you can be in trouble.
Giles says the Beach Patrol is also advising people to only go waist down, and if you do get caught in rip current, swim parallel to the shoreline and try to get a lifeguard's attention. The time is now 5:53, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day loves to feel the wind on his face. Check out Oscar, everybody. Oscar loves outdoor walks, and he loves his family, and Oscar was submitted to us by Jennifer in Frankfurt.
Oscar looks like he's living the life. Well, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
And that's where the QR code is. Scan that, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:56, and we're going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Yeah, Bob, we continue to track conditions for day 2 of the White Marlin Open.
Yeah, and I was mentioning earlier, maybe you get more of the fish biting with the cloudy weather. Let's hope, because I think we're looking at lots of clouds in Ocean City and out in the ocean as well. Easterly winds around 5 to 10, a little stronger out at sea, and probably waves around 2 to 4 feet out there. Paul Davis 10-day forecast looking at lower 80s, lots of clouds right as we go through the rest of the week. Friday 79. Over the weekend, I am tracking a system to the south. Right now, I'm keeping it dry for us, but that could change. 80 Saturday, 84 Sunday, and then I think we could see some rain Monday. Temperatures rising. Here come the 90s. They're back next Tuesday through Thursday. Some storms Tuesday and Wednesday.
Thank you, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, seeking House seats. The drama involved in Delaware's District 20 could end tonight. We look ahead to the special election as polls are set to open in about 1 hour. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.